Look, I never meant to become the hot coffee guy. I swear it just happened. I opened Ground Rules 3 years ago after quitting my job in finance because nothing says life crisis quite like trading spreadsheets for espresso beans. But somehow, between my flannel shirts, my dog Murray, and my tragic obsession with latte art, I earned the reputation of that handsome guy with the ridiculously good coffee and annoyingly good hair. I maintain that it's just the lighting. Anyway, let's talk about the real story here. Her. The girl who ordered a croissant turned my world upside down and possibly caused a mild pastry shortage. It was a Tuesday. Tuesdays are slow. Like watch your plant grow. Kind of slow. I was behind the counter experimenting with oat milk hearts when the door jingled and in walked a tornado disguised as a girl. She had giant sunglasses, an even bigger suitcase, and this whole new in town but make it fashion vibe. Her hair was in a messy bun like she'd wrestled a hairdryer and lost beautifully. "Hi," she chirped breathless. "Do you guys have Wi-Fi, caffeine, and emotional support baked goods?" I blinked. "You just described our entire business model." She smiled. I died a little, but in a good way. Her name was Lena. She had just moved from Melbourne to escape a lot of things, as she vaguely put it, but I didn't pry. She spent the next hour camped by the window, typing furiously on her laptop while consuming an alarming number of almond croissants. Over the next few days, she came back. Again. And again. Sometimes she'd just stare at her screen, muttering things like, "Why do all my characters sound like over-caffeinated raccoons?" Other times she'd read lines out loud and ask if I thought her fictional male lead was too emotionally unavailable or just Australian. I told her I couldn't tell the difference. She laughed. I melted. "Now, I know what you're thinking. Theo, you're obviously falling for her." Correct. I was also falling into mop buckets, walking into doors, and burning my fingers on the espresso machine every time she walked in. I tried to play it cool. But cool is not a language my body speaks when she's around. Then came him. The villain. The drama. The plot twist. One morning, Lena walked in looking like someone had deleted her Spotify account. "Hey," I said carefully, handing her a croissant preemptively. "You look like you need 5 of these." She sighed. "My ex is in town." Now here's the thing. I knew about the ex. The one she left in Melbourne. The one who proposed with a mood ring as a joke and then wasn't joking. The one who said her writing wasn't a real job. He was, in short, a walking red flag with expensive shoes. And apparently, he had followed her to town. "His name is Dylan," she said like it tasted bad. "He wants to talk. Closure. Or whatever." I tried to look supportive. I think I ended up looking constipated. 2 days later, he showed up and waltzed right into my cafe like he owned the place. Wore sunglasses indoors, called me Bud. Ordered a mocha with a splash of relevance. Lena looked visibly uncomfortable, so I stepped in. "Sorry," I said, smiling too hard. "We only serve mochas to people who aren't emotionally manipulative." He blinked. "Excuse me?" I shrugged. "It's house policy." Lena snorted her iced latte through her nose. It was the best moment of my life. After that, she stopped answering his calls. She came to the cafe more, stayed longer, started bringing me little doodles of my face on coffee cups. I gave her extra whipped cream like it was a love language. We still danced around it, the us thing. Then one night, she stayed past closing. "I'm scared," she admitted, staring at her half-finished manuscript. "What if I moved here for nothing? What if I'm just running in circles?" "You're not," I said. You're orbiting, getting closer to something good." She looked at me like she was trying to solve a puzzle, then said, "Are you flirting with me or quoting a science podcast?" "Both," I said. And then she kissed me. Right there, between the coffee grinder and the cash register. I'm pretty sure I pressed the decaf button by accident and someone out there got wildly underwhelmed coffee, but I did not care. It's been 6 months now. Lena finished her book. I got a dedication. I stopped pretending not to stare when she walks in. Dylan finally left, probably to ruin another city's vibe. And me? I'm still just a guy who owns a coffee shop. But now I've got a girl who makes even Mondays taste like magic. And every time she walks in, I still think the same thing. Thank God for croissants. So here's the thing about falling for someone who orders almond croissants like they're going extinct. It happens slowly, then all at once, then with frosting on your nose. 6 months in, Lena and I had settled into this cozy, weird, wonderful rhythm. She wrote, I brewed. She made fun of my Spotify playlists, Theo, this is 4 versions of the same Bon Iver song, and I pretended I didn't love that she knew my passwords. She even started naming our espresso machine. Currently it's Beno DiCaprio. We were happy, which, in rom-com logic, means something chaotic was definitely about to happen. It started with a text. Dylan, I'm sorry, I miss you, can we talk? Yep. The ghost of fiancé past was back, like a mosquito wearing a Gucci belt. Lena showed me the message while I was elbow deep in a bag of Colombian beans. Do you want to talk to him? I asked. No, she said. I want to launch my phone into a volcano, but apparently that's financially irresponsible. She sounded fine, but I could tell. Some part of her still felt the need to explain herself, to prove she wasn't the villain in someone else's story. That night we made popcorn and watched a terrible rom-com where the lead broke up with someone via interpretive dance. Lena said it was genius. I said it was mildly traumatic. She fell asleep on my shoulder, mid-popcorn. I didn't move for 2 hours. The next morning, Dylan showed up. Again. This time with flowers, red roses, bold move. Also, lazy. I just want 5 minutes, he said. I looked at Lena. Her jaw was clenched like she was biting back an entire TED Talk. She nodded. 5 minutes. I stayed behind the counter, pretending to polish mugs, but really listening harder than anyone has ever listened in history. He tried the whole, we had something real speech, the you're overreacting greatest hits. Then he dropped the real stinger, you used to dream of being a published author, and now you're just here. Dating a guy who makes foam hearts for a living? Okay, first of all, rude. Second, my foam hearts are adorable. I walked over, calm as a monk. Hey Dylan, I said. You know what I do for a living? He blinked. Yeah, you make coffee. Nope, I make space. For people to feel like they belong. For people to be who they are without apology. For brilliant writers who just escaped a one-man emotional circus. Lena blinked at me like I'd grown wings. Dylan huffed, muttered something about good luck with your hipster fantasy, and left. We stared at the door after it closed. The whole cafe was silent, and then Lena turned to me and said, Okay, that was hot. Don't panic, it's not that kind of proposal. Yet. But one Sunday morning, the air crisp with cinnamon and fall leaves, I walked into the cafe and found Lena sitting at my usual spot, my spot, wearing my flannel, holding up a muffin. This, she said dead serious, is my formal request to be your business partner. I blinked. Is this bribery via pastry? Absolutely. I've got marketing ideas, bookish collabs, latte art contests where the loser has to wear the world's ugliest apron. And I was already in love. Now I was also terrified, and we talked for hours. She had a plan, a pitch deck, and at one point said the phrase cross-promotional croissant strategy without blinking. I agreed before the muffin was even finished. We launched a Writers and Lattes weekly night, open mic readings, book swaps, limited edition mugs with her doodles and my bad puns. The place boomed. Our love life, however, turned into an endless montage of flower fights, spilled syrup, and impromptu dance breaks to 2,000 pop hits while waiting for bread to rise. One night, she looked at me across the kitchen, flower on her nose, hair frizzed, wearing a hoodie that said, "Espresso yourself," and said, "You know, if someone told me I'd fall for a coffee guy in a small city after running away from a dumpster fire of a relationship, I would have laughed." "What changed?" I asked, rinsing whipped cream off my elbow. She smiled. "You did." Last week, a big-time food blogger came to town and wrote this about ground rules. Cozy, welcoming, and always smells like cinnamon and possibility. Best almond croissant I've had in 5 cities. The owner may or may not be a romantic comedy character. Also, his girlfriend tells great stories. We framed it. Lena says it sounds like something from one of her books, but I say, nah. This story, this chaotic, croissant-fueled, love-filled story, it's better than fiction. It's ours.